Hey guys, I'm Sean,
And I'm Jim.
and we are doing a second Biggie song. As promised, we're doing Juicy here. Not a whole bunch of background to give. It's classic hip hop song from the late great Biggie Smalls, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show it to Jim here.
I'll say right off the top that the term juicy has so many connotations that come up
Oh, it
for me.
should. It should.
Starting with the tamest being a Juicy Lucy, which is a hamburger, people, or can be something else, and getting much worse.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and go for it here.
No audio.
Really? Did I really do that?
Or it's really very low.
Okay. Let's try it again.
Well, Sean, I told you, I remember to put the mic in front of me tonight, so it's your turn to fuck things up.
Yeah. All right, let's try this again.
This album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And all the niggas in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Wall. I let my tape rock to my thick top, smoking weed and bamboo, on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the world's trade. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Piece to Raw G, Bruce
Harsh.
Free, Funk Master Flex, Love Bug Star Schemes. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
You know very well who you are. Don't let them hold you down. Reach for the stars. You have to move when I'm saying, 'cause you're the only one.
I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal with Robin Leach. And I'm far from cheap. I smoke with my peeps all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Moet and Alizé keep me pissy. Girls used to diss me. Now they write letters cause they miss me. I never thought it could happen, this rapping stuff. I was too used to packing gats and stuff.
Yeah.
So like this one is a story rap. This one is an actual story. He's telling his, rags to riches story.
Yeah. One quick question. Where it says blowing up like World Trade. Was that the first explosion down in the parking structure, or was this after 9/11?
Biggie died in 1996.
Okay, this would have been the first one where it was a parking lot then.
Yep. That's why I was like, that's why I just gave you his date death. Like,
yeah. Well, I honestly didn't know exactly when he died.
Yeah, he died 2 years after Pac, which was 94.
Okay. Although that was a harsh line.
It was. I'm backing up just a little bit here.
Been this rapping stuff. I was too used to packing gats and stuff. Now honeys play me close like butter play coke. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast, condos in Queens, in dope for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Small speak. Living life without fear. Putting 5 carats in my baby girl ear. Lunches, brunches, interviews by the pool. Considered a fool cause I dropped out of high school. Stereotypes of a black male misunderstood. And it's still all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
You know very well who you are.
Did you see
P. Diddy?
P. Diddy again?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I thought that was.
Yeah, he always had cameos in Biggie's videos. Always.
Okay.
He was the producer, and he always had him in there.
Don't let them hold you down. Reach for the stars. You have to move
Hang on a second. I find it interesting that here on the refrain or bridge, actually refrain, that he's got female singers on that.
Yeah.
When part of this, in fact, on the last one, it's sort of an imagery of being surrounded by gold diggers.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting juxtaposition on this song.
So I don't know if you've picked it up, but from his what you can tell in his raps is that he doesn't really care what a woman's motivations are for being around him. He doesn't care.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like, even if the singer's a gold digger, he doesn't give a shit because he has plenty of gold for them to dig. And you know what I mean? He's not planning on marrying any of them, so who cares?
Well, that sounds like every sailor. It sounds like every sailor who's ever put into a lineup.
Well, you know. All right, here's one of his here's one of the famous verses right here. Here's one of the big ones.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch screen, money green leather sofa. Got 2 rides, a limousine with the chauffeur. Phone bill about 2 G's flat. No need to worry, my accountant handles that. And my whole crew's lounging, celebrating every day, no more public housing. Thinking back on my one-room shack. Now my mom pimps an act with minks on her back. And she loves to show me off, of course. Smiles every time my face is up in the source.
Source Magazine used to be a really, really big hip-hop publication. It's not as big now, but it was a really big one. I mean, it's a magazine, so like, how many magazines are still doing well in 2021? You know?
Yeah. On the other lines, where he's talking about leading up to my accountant handles that. I'm thinking about I want to say Dr. Hook, but it's just so reminiscent of the same basic premise, where he has a big car, but he doesn't have a driver's license anymore. He doesn't care. There's people driving him around. Early rock and roll.
Well,
early MTV.
If you think about it, if you're rich enough, nothing's really illegal except for killing people and raping people. Everything else is just how much does it cost to do that thing? You know what I mean? Oh, you can't park there. No, it costs $300 to park there, and I can afford it. So I'm just going to park there. You know, like that's where he was at.
Let's not get started down that discussion, because you and I can both talk about that for an hour with the implications.
Easily.
We used to fuss when the smiles every time my face is up in the source.
Just back it up a little bit.
We used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat. Wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we thirsty. Damn right, I like the life I live, cause I went from negative to positive, and it's all. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Representing B-Town in the house. Junior Mafia, Fast Label.
Oh yeah, you know what this also reminds me of? My boss back in the 90s. I'm not going to name any names, other than he started a small internet company that quickly became one of the top 2 companies involved with the adult internet. But when I first hired on, we would have Christmas dinners. The whole company, all 10 of us, would have Christmas dinner in his house. And he kept this tradition going, except that after a few years, he had this big ass mansion up in the hills, and he had like a couple of dozen of men in black suits with earpieces and everything. And he sat at a table, and there's only a very few of us allowed to come up and sit at that table with him. And the guy he bought a nightclub in North Hollywood and also started his own record label and had a prominent rapper associated with that. So, yeah, I can definitely associate with this, where that climb from the bottom, as it were, just having seen somebody who's at one time a good friend of mine do it.
For sure. Absolutely. So, any other thoughts on this song? It's, to me, this is one of his classics. Obviously, I mean,
I like it. Actually, there's one scene in there that really got me, at least on the video. The video combined with the lyric, where he was, I don't remember the exact lyric, but he's talking about stereotypical young black man, I think, with the men in jail.
Yeah.
That, I think, was a powerful statement.
Yeah. For me, one of the lines that one of the things that hits me is, when he's talking about all the game systems that he used to like really want when he was a kid, but he could never afford. And he's like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I'd never pictured this. That's that's a bar right there.
I think that many of us, certainly just about every person I know, I'm certain most, if not every person not to mention ourselves, we can identify with that. Maybe not to the same level that he reached, but
for sure
we can identify with it looking at where we're at today versus when we were teens.
For sure. And another one of his another one of the lines that I really liked was talking about how they had no heat, wondering why Christmas missed us. That was a line. That was oof. My parents, they always put a focus on that particular holiday. So I can't necessarily identify with that, but I can definitely remember hanging blankets and sheets in the doorways to the rooms that we were in because our heat was off.
Yeah,
I can definitely remember that.
Oh yeah, for me, as a young child, I won't say well off, but it wasn't bad. My dad made a good living, but my dad died when I was still young. Things changed pretty much overnight for Mom and me. That's when I started throwing 3 paper routes, working or keeping score at the bowling alley, things like that. So yeah. I got an education real fast.
For sure. So with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. But hey, we found an artist that it seems like Jim likes a lot. I mean, we don't always find artists that Jim likes. Sometimes we.
Well, it's not that I don't like artists. It's just that I'm saying.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes we subject Jim to things, is what I should say. Sometimes we torture Jim with things.
Well, so far, Sean's managed to make it through 2 songs without my calling him an asshole, so he's doing pretty good.
Should get through one more, and then you're gonna call me an asshole.
Okay.
This next one you probably won't hate me for either, but after that, I'm gonna throw you a curveball, I'm sure.
I will get even. And remember, I know where you live.
That you do. All right, guys, later.
Later.